For the sisters who have tried everything to grow out their hairline but it's not working, this video is for you. For context, here's my before. You could see the big bald spot at the front of my hair, and here is my after. You can see my edges have fully grown in, thick, full, nice edges. And this is after I used this hair growth oil. I'm going to be showing you how I made this oil in today's video. So be sure to stick to the end of the video so you do not miss out on any of the processes. Hello sisters, welcome back to the channel. It's Miss Sunny, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing with you the DIY oil that has helped me grow out my edges. And for this therapy we are going to be needing only 2 ingredients. The first ingredient we are going to be needing is cloves. Now, speaking to the reason why I'm making this video, I saw this lady on TikTok and she was bitterly complaining about how she installed a wig, and when she was taking out the wig, she mistakenly ripped out her edges because of the glue that was used in attaching the wig to her head. Now, I know a lot of us have been in that place. Maybe you've done a hairstyle, you removed the hairstyle and you notice that your edges completely fell out. Or for my sisters who have receding hairlines, and for my other sisters who have been struggling with postpartum shedding, especially around their edges area, please listen carefully. The first ingredient, as I mentioned earlier, is cloves. We are using cloves because cloves boost hair growth by increasing blood circulation and enriching the scalp with oxygen. They also contain iron, manganese, and potassium that does not only just strengthen your hair but also prevents it from falling out. Quickly moving on, the last ingredient we are going to be needing for this hair therapy is castor oil. Here is a close-up of what it looks like. Castor oil is one of the best options out there for restoring damaged edges and regrowing receding hairlines. Also, I chose castor oil because it contains ricinoleic acid, a type of fatty acid which boosts circulation in the scalp and subsequently promotes healthier and stronger hair. Before we get into the mixing process, if you know anyone, a sister, a mom, an aunt who has been struggling to grow out their edges, do help them out by sharing this video with them. I know they're going to learn a thing or two from this video which will be really beneficial to them in their hair growth, hair care journey. So now I'm going to take just a small container, then pour about 1.5 teaspoons of cloves into the container. Next, I'm going to be covering the cloves with the oil in the container. Also take note, the more the cloves used, the more the oil needed to infuse the cloves. This is the close-up of what the infusion is looking like so far. Again, I'm not going to be adding any water to this mix. It's just purely oil and cloves. No water is needed in this therapy. After adding the oil to the cloves in the container, I'm going to let this sit for at least 1 week. This gives enough time for the cloves to properly infuse its nutrients into the castor oil. So I'm going to cover this up, keep it in a dark cupboard for about a week. After a week, this is how our infusion is going to be looking like. Our oil has been properly infused. I'm not going to sieve the cloves out of the oil, no. I'm going to leave the cloves in the oil and use the oil on my edges. Now we are going to move on to the application process. This is our oil mix. This is our therapy we are going to be using for our edges. Now, for the application process, I'm going to be using a scalp massager. And yes, if you do not have a scalp massager, you can use your fingers. The scalp massager just makes things a bit more fun, but it's not a necessary component, okay? You could use your fingers, you could use a scalp massager. And here's the infused oil I showed you earlier in the video. This is what we are going to be applying on our edges. Now, moving on to the application process, I'm just going to dip my hand into the oil, then apply it on my edges. As you can see, I have come a long way with this therapy. This therapy has worked for me over the years, and that is the reason why I'm recommending it to you. A few tips to put in mind whilst using the therapy. Obviously, if you're using this therapy, avoid hairstyles that will put tension on your edges. When you use the therapy, your edges go, but you still keep on doing those tight hairstyles that pull out your edges. It's like you're canceling the efforts. That's not what we want here. When you use the edge oil, make sure that when you do your hairstyles, they are loose around your edges area. Okay, anything that will put tension on your edges, don't do it. And for the sisters that are still feeling skeptical, this is my before at your left, and here is my after I started using this oil. If I grew my edges back, you can also grow it back. I'm telling you, at a point I gave up because I felt like maybe thick edges were not for me. But no, I went back to basics, the simple basics, using the oil, scalp massaging, and remaining consistent. That is where you begin to see results. And even when I started seeing results, I didn't stop. I continued using the oil, and today it's now part of my edge care DIYs. After I finish applying the oil, I make sure that I take my time to massage my edges with my fingers, then go ahead, use the scalp massager I showed you earlier. Use it also to massage my scalp. That way, the oil penetrates better into your scalp. For the number of times I do this in a week, I do it 3 times in a week. Also, if you have any more questions about this routine, let me know in the comment section. And if you've learned something from this video, please be sure to subscribe, like as well. And if you know any sister, any person who is struggling to grow their hair, struggling to grow their edges, please share this video with them as well. One last thing I would like to touch on before we bring this video to an end is this thing is actually not talked about enough. Using hair gels on your edges. Once in a while, you want to slay, you use hair gel, you slick your edges, it's fine. But daily use of hair gels is bad for your edges. Why? Because the hair gels contains high amounts of alcohol. Alcohol dries out your edges, and when your edges dry out, what happens next? It breaks. Okay, and that's what we do not want. So be careful on how you use hair gels on your edges as well. That's just by the way. And I think that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching. It's Miss Sunny, and until the next video, I'm out.